Why, hello again. I'm back. Yes, I am taking a nice walk in the park. You might think to yourselves, okay, we saw the title of this video. We know exactly what he's going to talk about. But if I can be perfectly honest with all of you, I'm in a pretty good mood. Yeah, it's a nice day outside. I just got back from the gym and I'm taking a pretty long walk in the park, as I like to do when the weather is nice. And I was thinking, while I was walking, it'd be a really good idea to just chat with all of you. I've got something to say, so I want to say it. Your youth is passing you by. Yes, I don't think that's a secret. I think every day that we live our lives, the funnel of youth is slowly seeping out of us. You know, our existence is being questioned on a day-to-day basis, and we end up introspecting and inevitably trying to find answers and rationalize why it is that we are who we are and what happens to us as we gradually get older. Now, I remember when I was a kid, I can't remember how old I was, but I was really into video games. I had the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, SNES, SNES, however you want to call it. And we couldn't get games the way we do now, where you could just rent a game online or just download it and you have it instantly, right? I had to go to a physical video store and look for a specific game that I wanted to rent. And if it wasn't available, I had to wait. And I wanted to rent Super Street Fighter. Oh man, good times. I remember I thought that was like the pinnacle of gaming, the existence of this game was something that I needed to experience. And it wasn't available. I had to wait the next day. Now, through the process of waiting for the next day, time felt like it was slowing down, man. It just couldn't come quickly enough towards where I could achieve satisfaction, where I could play this game and enjoy it for like a day before I had to return it again, right? And it got me really thinking how our perception of time is altered based off of the way, we, for lack of a better term, age, right? When you have a dog and you ever wonder why they're so excited to see you when you come home after like an 8-hour day of work, that's because their perception of time is significantly different than ours. You got to think about it like this. They're not going to live as long as you are. If you're lucky, you get a good solid 15 plus years out of your dog, and then that's kind of it. That's game over, right? So when they see you, they're really excited because those 8 hours that you're gone, they're perceiving it as longer. They're probably perceiving it as multiple days, to be honest, just based off of the length of their life, So you might start to think to yourself after a while that you've lost out on something. You've lost out on some pivotal experiences that you're not going to get back. Now, I think that this really starts to happen mainly in your 20s. I would say mid-20s, maybe 25 and up, where you really start to get that as existential dread. You start to realize your mortality. And well, one of the reasons for that is because that's when your brain is fully developed, primarily, right? Your frontal cortex, you're kind of like a fully realized human being at this point, or at least you should be. And your perception of time also changes. You're no longer sitting down waiting for that video game that feels like it's taking forever for you to play. When I wake up in the morning and I have a day off, the first thing I want to do is be active. I want to get up, I want to make my bed and shower, then hit the gym and take a walk like I'm doing right now. And that's because I'm trying to maximize every single minute, because we're not here forever. And although you might feel like you've missed out on a lot, you have. You have. We all have. I certainly have. But that doesn't mean that it's completely over for you, right? You have to be able to move on with the rest of your life in spite of the tragedies that might come with the realization that you're not going to be here forever. None of us are going to be here forever. The online trolls that attack you will not be here forever, although there will always be someone to take their place, inevitably. And the experiences that you missed out on, let's say, for instance, you didn't go to college, you didn't get to experience like hopping in a girl's like a window, when you're like really young and you're like discovering each other for the first time. Those are real experiences that a lot of people, including myself, never experienced. But that doesn't mean that I haven't felt the satisfaction or the warmth of a woman as I got older, because I have, you know? And a couple of different things happen when you get older. Your mentality begins to change. The way you structure your life begins to change. Maybe you're working now. You possibly are making some money. And you might have a place of your own, or you might have roommates, or might be living at home with your parents. But the point is that you're starting to develop into the person that you're going to inevitably become for the rest of your life. And that's important. Don't devalue it, accept it for what it is. It's not over just because you didn't get to achieve a couple of things that you wanted to do. Just like any good sports game, right? The game isn't over until the clock runs out, until that buzzer goes off. That's the same thing with your life. And once you start to realize that, you can start to kind of look at things from a different perspective. You know, you still have time. There's always an opportunity. I'm 40 years old right now, and there's a lot of things in my youth that I didn't get to experience that I regretted, you know? But there's also a lot of other cool things that I've gotten to do because I am older now and I'm more capable. You know, that's another gift you get. Although the elixir of life that begins to gradually fade from your body might go away, you do gain something else. You gain wisdom. You gain the ability to be exceedingly proficient in certain subjects or certain fields that you choose to express an interest in. And I don't think that's anything to scoff at. You know, learning about yourself, learning what you're capable of doing has always been an asset and will always, in fact, be one. So don't feel bad if there are things that you didn't get to experience, because the show must go on, right? We ultimately still have to live some semblance of a life. We still have to find purpose in what we're doing. Now, what is purpose? It depends on the individual. You know, your purpose could be to be the world's greatest chef, or maybe you want to make music and you want to sing to the world. You might want to leave a memory that will, almost got clipped by the bike. I got to pay attention. I am outside. I am on a walking path too, so let me turn around actually and go back into the park. But yeah, your purpose is going to ultimately depend on what it is that you want to get out of your own life. What do you like to do? Doesn't matter what anybody else wants you to do. The only thing that matters is what you want, because no one is living your life for you. I said this in another video before, and I tend to repeat myself a lot, but you are the main character of your own story. You're the one that gets to dictate it. Although there are times where there are things that you aren't in control of can happen, it doesn't mean that you're not in control of anything at all. That's just not true. So realize what you're in control of and seize the moment, because, well, we're not here forever. And if you stop and really start to introspect, look at yourself in the mirror one day and say, okay, well, what are some actionable changes? What are some steps that I can take to make sure that the next 40 years of my life are meaningful to me? You know, is it starting a family? Is it just being the best version of yourself, self-actualizing, you know, owning a business, taking care of your immediate family? There's a lot of things that you can derive from this life, and you have to realize what that is for you. It's not all about women, okay? Guys, this is for the guys. Women only really play a small part of your life, if you really stop and think about it. Unless you got somebody pregnant and, you know, you're kind of there parenting. For the most part, they only play a small portion, but we exist in the world together. The same thing for women. Guys only play a small portion of your life as well. You can't focus on what everyone else is doing, because if you do, you're going to realize that during all that focus, you let your own life pass you by. And I'm not perfect. I'm constantly learning. Heck, I mean, the name of my podcast is Big Brother Neo's Podcast, and it's lessons I wish I knew when I was younger. Because when I'm talking to all of you, I'm also really talking to myself, you know? I'm constantly trying to rationalize my own existence and where I belong in this world. Sorry if it gets a little windy out here. I'm by the water. I'll show all of you. So it can get a little loud here, and I don't know how well this little dead cat on the mic is blocking out the wind. So I'll get to a higher vantage point where there's less wind. But I really wanted to talk about this because I realized as I was taking this walk that, you know what, my knees hurt. And this isn't an issue that I would have experienced 10 years ago. You know what I mean? But just because they hurt doesn't mean I have to stop walking. I'm not just gonna sit on a couch, idly by, and let the rest of my existence pour out of me. You know, you only have so much gas in your tank, and once it's empty, we don't have the option to refill it. So you have to make every ounce of gas count. And when you realize that even if you missed out on a lot, that you still play an active role in your life and you still have the opportunity to change things, things start to get better. You know, you might be at an older stage now where you're making more money, so things that weren't available to you previously now are. Or you might have just gotten smarter and had some sort of epiphany that you couldn't have at a younger age because, well, let's face it, you just simply didn't have the life experience or the brain power for it. So there's a trade-off. And even if you get older, the trade-offs are gonna come and go. There's ebbs and flows in life. So realize that, appreciate it for what it is, and listen, man, I get it. I get it because I've been there. I've 100% felt that I didn't accomplish a lot of the things that I wanted to do in life, but I'm still semi-young. I'm in my 40s now, and I still have the ability to walk and get up on my own power and work and be able to articulate myself to the rest of the world, so it's not over. Sure, the old days are gone where I didn't have any responsibility and I could just sit down and play a video game all day. That was fun, right? But I got a new trade-off from that. I got my freedom. I have a vehicle where I can drive and go wherever I wish. I can buy my own groceries and don't have to be limited based off of what my family is able to get based off of our level of income. I have choice, and your level of choice increases as you get older. So it's important to put yourself in a good position where your choices become more vast as you get older. For example, walking in this park, I could not walk here. I'm out of breath talking to you while I'm walking. I could just be in my house, watching TV, doing absolutely nothing, and let my body deteriorate. But no, instead, I have another 3 miles to go before I go home. And the exercise is releasing those endorphins. It's making me feel better. It's making me want to do more things. A body in motion is a body that's working. If the most difficult thing you've done in your life is go to and from the grocery store, that is the level of difficulty you're prepared to deal with. And with that, well, you guys are awesome. Don't ever let anyone tell you different. Signing off.